Hi everyone, Cathy Meadows here, and I just wanted to come on and share something with you. I just found out the other day what global warming is, what it really is. And I don't understand science, I don't understand all the little tidbits that go in there, so it was hard for me to understand what was going on. But somebody just explained it so simply to me. I mean, the way that as complicated as they make it sound, it's like you have to be a scientist genius to figure it out. But all it is, and I just discovered this, okay? So maybe I'm the dumbass here. But what it is when there's a lot of carbon in the air, usually it gets sucked back in by the earth and the oceans itself. But when there's too much carbon in the air, it goes up into the upper atmosphere, and then when the sun comes out in the daytime and heats the earth, and then it gets dark at night, all that hot air rises, because that's what hot air does, right? It rises. But it can't get through this dome of carbon. So it's sitting up there, all this hot air sitting up there underneath this dome of carbon. And when the hot air mixes with the cool air of Earth, like in the wintertime, when the axis changes and stuff like that, they mix together and it makes the storms a lot worse. And obviously, I think it goes without saying that it's also going to have a greater effect on forest fires. You have all this hot air up there. It's just gonna happen, right? I mean, it's like an unescapable. It's almost being in a fryer with French fries. That's how I picture it. Because I imagine there's a lot of oil in the air. I don't know. I'd probably get set on fire with all the oil I have on me right now. But it's just so easy to understand. Now I get it. And I just found out. And all these decades of hearing about global warming, and somebody just explained it so succinctly and concisely that, now I get it. Now I understand what the heck is going on. And we got to figure out a way to take this carbon out of the air, not just stop producing it, but actually taking it out, sucking it out of the air. So some of you 15, 16-year-old geniuses in high school and beyond want to figure this out. I know of a couple things. I've already done some research on this, of course. Cow poop is one of the best things you can do, but unfortunately they also release a gas we don't want into the air. But any kind of poop is good in the earth, okay? Any of it. That is what actually feeds the earth. And it sucks the carbon out of the air. So it has to be controlled. You can't have cows staying in one spot forever. They have to be moved around. So in this case, we're getting back to the old cowboy days where the cowboys are actually coming out, moving the cattle around. It's going to be hot. They're going to have to bring some cold bananas for their neck, or something. Just put frozen stuff on them and, automatic, robotic cooling devices on their body. But, this is doable. We can do this. And I don't think it's beyond our control. I really don't. I think some other people have to come up with some really good ideas. Like I've thought of ideas of just having carbon sucking machines in every car. I don't know if you can do that, okay? But if you could, that would be kind of cool. And how about carbon sucking robots flying around the upper atmosphere where the carbon is and just sucking out the carbon? Is that too much to ask? I mean, if they're building all these rockets to go to Mars, why don't they build something make 1,000 of them and just have them circle around sucking carbon? You know what I mean? Why is that possible? Can you suck carbon without sucking anything else? I think so, or pretty close to it. I just think they're putting the money into the wrong things. And we can fix stuff. And it's got to be now, kind of, looking around, just looking at the weather, looking at fires, I don't know if we have how much time we have. Everything's a guess at this point. They say, "Oh, we might have 60 years." It might fall apart tomorrow. Because we've never been through this before, we have nothing to measure it with. It's confounded by other things we haven't thought of that are going into the theory of how long it's going to take before we all die off from this carbon. I don't think it's going to take, though, as long as they think. It's going to be a lot faster because I think it's snowballing. And I think that they were doing it on a rate, an evenly paced rate. But I think it gains momentum. It's like the hotter the oil is, then it makes the rest of the hotter a portion of the oil is in the pan, it makes all the rest of the oil hotter that much faster. You know what I mean? So, anyway, I just wanted to share that. And, for me, good news. Yeah, we can do this. And by the way, we have shrunk the hole in the ozone. And if those of you who don't know what the ozone is, it is this layer of airy stuff around us that keeps out the radiation from the sun. And we started to destroy that with aerosol sprays. And then when they outlawed aerosol sprays, it started getting better. And I think they outlawed them, I don't know, somewhere in the 1900s, maybe 1980 or something. I'm not sure. Could somebody tell me? And but it's getting smaller. And the hole in the ozone happens to be over one of the poles. So, it's kind of a weird place for it to be. You'd think it would melt the pole faster, right? I don't know. But it's shrinking. So you see, we're fixing that. So yeah, we have to give ourselves more credit, than we're giving ourselves. It's not defeatist. It's like get smart fast. We can do this. I know we can. Take care. Love you. And talk again soon.